Round 5 matchup between Team USA Alejandro Pantoja versus Germany's Jannis Roepert. Alejandro is playing the Mystery Knight slot, and this is going to be a Terrell Shadows deck. Jannis is playing Martell. As we come into this game, Germany is leading 4-2, so a single loss by the United States will give the round to Germany. Alright, they're setting up. Let me show you the decks real quick. Here is the Martell Alliance, Kraken and Stag. Valor, both Valors, only one trade routes, 2 buildings orders, and exchange of information. Okay, it'd be interesting to see what this one's actually trying to do. And then we have Alejandro playing, I think, a much more typical Tyrell Kingdom deck with both Valors as resets. We'll go back to those decks if we need to in a bit. Alright, Alejandro sets up the Arbor and 2 cards and shadows. That's pretty good. And kind of a standard at the gates opening versus exchange of information. So you don't really know what Martell's doing exactly with this deck. It'll become apparent, but it sure looked like they were set up to kind of fish for a lot of things. So I wonder what they're looking for here. Okay, he took Secret Schemes. I'm guessing that's the only event. Okay, Alejandro using at the gates, grabs Gate to the Moon, and also plays out Red Wine Straits, and now has 5 cards in shadows. Alright, so he plays out, Jannis plays out Queensman and then kneels Newly Made Lord in order to get rid of Starry Sept. Oh, and then this is one of those decks. Iron Bank. So Alejandro may not want this one to go for a very long time. We'll see though. No Bestow Trickery yet. Hasn't pumped anything up there, so it'll take a while for this to grow. Varus probably not a great card against Martell here, because it has to have a character with power, and Martell decks don't generally do that. Alright, end of round 1, 2-0 Martell. As you know, Martell likes to play from ahead. Don't like being behind. Just kidding. This feels backwards for Martell, having a lot more characters on the board than their opposition in round 1. Okay, Prince Doran comes out. And then plays his own trade routes. So kind of a mirroring going on here. But now one more plot in the used plot pile for Martell. If they've got some used pile Martell shenanigans going on. Alright. So, named Vanguard Lancer only hit the Iron Throne, but now we see the whole deck there. Milk, Lingering Venom, more Iron Bank, Crescent, Starfall, Locked Away, Secret Schemes, Dorn, and the Iron Throne. So, I think we're going to see Dorn. Is there anything in Alejandro's deck that actually gets rid of locations? Is anybody running Political Disaster? No for Martell. No for Alejandro. So probably didn't need to dupe these locations, but why not? What's your reserve here? Your reserve is 6, so... And did, let's see, already secret schemed, okay. Seems early, but again, like, I get the sense that Martell's fishing for something, but generally that's Dorn, so... Alejandro puts another 2 cards into shadows. Alright, looks like we got a few people in Twitch there. Let me know who you are, who's here. If anybody wants to join me in Discord, I'm on the AGOT World Cup Discord server. If you want to jump in and provide some commentary, give me somebody to talk to. Alright, Jannis opens with an intrigue challenge, gets through, discards red wine straights. See, like, that's why you don't dupe things, is you can have kind of a card that can eat some intrigue claim and not really cost you anything. And we'll grab a little bit of draw there from pulling the Nighttime Marauders back to hand, and right, he knows Martell's hand now, so this should hit a lot more the next time Nighttime Marauders comes back out. Probably can't be this turn unless he has a second one, but come marshalling, probably a good time to go first if you're Martell next turn. But I don't think you can't put a card in shadows until it's actually your marshal, I don't think. You can bring cards out of shadows, but not marshal them into shadows until it's your turn, so... This is one of those cases where playing on the Iron Throne allows you to kind of roll back and see exactly what somebody's hand is without having to rely upon, memory. Alright, a little Tyrell control there in order to pop Shreem Baratheon back out of the challenge. And Alejandro still has 5 monies. And again, we kind of see how good Unexpected Guile is. Although, you know, he's not really going to be able to do much to Martell's hand with Dorn around, but you can hit what you need here. Alright. Starfall is triggered to take away the military icon from Bolt and Flare. I think he's probably fine doing an intrigue challenge, but it will stop one kill. And that looks to me like Alejandro saw what was coming and was perfectly fine with all of that. Because even taking one of the two cost characters out here, Bolt and Flare will still kill a second one. And when we see another Unexpected Guile, no, it's going to cost one, so no more Unexpected Guile, I don't think. Not on this challenge phase, but this is looking like things are going pretty well for Alejandro, other than Dorn is out, Starfall is out, and Iron Bank is slowly ramping up the money, so I don't know what the answer to this is. What's the answer to Dorn? Alright, we know Nighttime Marauders is in Alejandro's hand, but you know, that's just my theory of what might happen in the marshalling phase next turn, but this might be a good time for Martell to win initiative. Or maybe it's even been enough time since the last Nighttime Marauders that there's, you know, a lot of his hand is turned over. Okay, that looks like Alejandro getting Valor D out of the way. And again, here's what I was talking about, building orders. Jannis is actually carrying two of them. So it's maybe not something specific that he's looking for, but just continue to build out his location base. Alright. I was right. First things first, Nighttime Marauders, and you should get some big hits here. Milk, Motley, and Water Gardens all get hit after naming the Iron Bank. And we also get to see the rest of Martell's hand, which is only two other characters here. Crescent I don't think is going to do much in this matchup, although condition and touch, that's not good. That doesn't work on Guile, does it? Guile isn't a condition. Is it? Sorry, just looking for the link. That's right. Good point. It's an excellent point. One that you could be making if you were in Discord with me. Buzz. You probably have children in your house that you don't want to wake up with talking late at night, though. Okay, Face Decree. Got hands judgmented. What was he trying to do? Okay, so this would have been a... You cancel Dorn. Okay, so I stick by my original point that Crescent doesn't do a whole lot in this matchup. So despite having Dorn, he's gotten Martell's hand down pretty significantly here. It did take, 2 nighttime marauders. And I think we will see at least we'll see one guile now, right? Got anything else generating money here? Alright, one issue is that the assassin is likely to die to the bolt and flare unless something is done about that. But I don't think that Martell will do a military back at him. Okay, and there's the money for Iron Bank, so there's Guile drawing another card. So we have done. Alejandro has done all 3 of his challenges now. Now Martell might swing with military challenge, but he knows some things can come out of shadows. Okay. That's interesting. I know intrigue generally goes. He's still got 5 coins, 5 gold, so who knows what he can bring out. Okay. The assassin comes out and immediately gets starfalled so that it's unopposed. Well, it's probably a little too bad about old Bilbo. Not huge, but if you can guess the secret schemes at the right time, that could be substantial. Not sure what did that achieve by bringing the assassin out? All right, moving right along here. I think that's the second trade routes for Alejandro. And yet another building orders, so continuing to kind of build location base for so he added Iron Throne to hand. Okay, right. But again, Marauders is in a position to go and get it exactly. Okay, boom. Archivist discard decks just completely get shuffled in. I guess that's something that Martell wanted, yeah. So what's left? Yeah, especially with 2 Marauders, you can see what's there on the first swing, and then maybe hit a lot more on the second. Except for the reducer, all of our characters are at 3 cost. Okay, just straight up marshals. Knight of Flowers. No, I'm sorry, was already in Shadows, excuse me. He's just doing it in the marshalling phase. And so I think he's doing this in order to draw. And also, now that he's got Old Town Undercity and Old Town running at the same time, he can place whatever card he wants to on the top of the deck and then name it for additional draw. That's a good point about how that's slowing down Marauders by having the Archivist go in there, right? Because you have to name something in the discard pile. Good point, chat. Right, because Begging Brothers now becomes a really key card here. Maximum Bestow. That said, you might see, I mean, it's just like there's so many triggers on the Terrell side. So how long will this 3 gold on Begging Brothers last? He's got to be selective. Yeah, going forward, the 2 costs might be off limits for the Marauders, just to avoid hitting any more Archivists. Okay, Sparrows comes out of Shadows. Anything gonna get canceled by the Begging Brother here? Not Old Town Undercity. Okay, he did cancel Sparrows, which would have moved to power. Alright, his Viper's Eyes is probably pretty good. And removes Iron Bank. So both players having pretty good hand knowledge. Knowledge of the other player's hand here. Yeah, so we've already, that's kind of, I was just guessing, we're seeing that cash on Begging Brothers get depleted really quickly here. Okay, so did he have a duplicate come out or something to trigger? No, just he's used. I mean, he would just be standing himself. The stand is what's the stand is what's being canceled. These guys are playing pretty quickly, which is probably necessary just because I don't think either of these decks are particularly fast. I think Alejandro warned me. Alright, Misty Morn. Let's look that up. I think that's... You're saying is that's going to pull... Okay, from the dead pile. Okay, so they have to die. Both these decks have so much draw. It's hard to really make a dent in people's hands. But he's now chewed through 2 Viper's Eyes. Alright, I'm still, yeah, I don't know. But it feels like Alejandro's doing the things he wants to do. The only downside is that he's now chewed through both of his trade routes. So, but this is pretty spectacular economy sitting here. Although I guess the pleasure barge is going to slow it down, but he's still going to grab, 7 every turn. And he's running Pantoja, so insane amounts of money. And let's see what's in the discard pile. Threes and zeros. And there's your Misty Morn. As you suggested. Okay, and was Alejandro sitting on that? Waiting to drop. I mean, Queensman's there, so if you want to hit the Begging Brother, you do, right? And that's what happened. It's only 1 card hit, but kind of like, so what? That's the one you really don't care about. That's the one you really do care about. So there's going to be a newly made Lord coming out. What location do you think he wants to hit? Now I got 16 gold sitting on the Iron Bank. And Iron Throne was his answer. That said, Alejandro's not that far from closing out here. Lingering Venom. Okay, he did not use Shipwright during... Yeah, but what's the kneel here? Okay, there's Faith's Decree again, which... Ooh. Which if for Terrell now, that is just like guaranteed that you can play that. Like condition is so easy to attain with... Yeah, by running Gate of the Gods, which is, you can get at the gates at any time. Okay, can Sparrows just kind of chew this out right here? Starfall removes the power icon from Knight of Flowers. But we still have... Huh. Okay. Still do this one's still going to get through. You got to block. You got to chump block it there. So just one away. And there's Sparrows to win the game. Yep. Congratulations to Alejandro. All right, so that makes the score 4-3. 2 matches remain. Well, we will have Alex Black playing Martell against David Techmeyer, Night's Watch, and that's going to be in 1 hour and 25 minutes unless they decide to go earlier, but I have no idea if that's going to happen. We're scheduled to start in 1 hour and 25 minutes. And let's see if we can get Alejandro in here to talk about the game. Give it 1 minute here before shutting down the stream to see if we can get Alejandro on. Yep, looks like he's coming on, so hang tight.
Hey Trey, it's Alejandro.
Hey. Congratulations.
Thank you. That we talked about it earlier. I said it was a slog and prepared to go the distance, and here we are 37 minutes after the game was started. So super happy with that. The Nighttime Marauders are insane, insane there. Like, so we played the matchup only twice because both games went over an hour. So like, not gonna put that much time into this. And each time, table and chair just prolong the game a lot. Obviously, they're kind of that's kind of his win condition. And so I was really targeting the 2 cost slot. And I got to pair up my Marauders with his building order, so I knew exactly, I had no knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
but I think that's guaranteed hit every time he did that.
Right. I think that's kind of the story of the game. Like, if I don't see Nighttime Marauders, there's 3 of them, but if I don't see them early enough, it's much more grindy. And my Knight of Flowers ended up getting 2 power there.
Yeah.
And I saw a dude, but I saw everything. And that's the only way that the game was going to end in 35 minutes. So super happy with that.
We're playing pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's true. That's part of it. For myself, I knew that we had to play fast because I think I'm favored in the super long game. Like, if we play an hour, maybe he's favored. Vanguard Lancers, but he doesn't have orphans, which is in testing. Like, had he had orphans, because there's a point where if you Iron Bank turn 1, like plot 8, you have infinite money. So you just Lancer. So one of the strategies was getting power on locations because Vanguard Lancer doesn't hit locations, and it ended up not being relevant here. He set up a Newly Made Lord, which he really doesn't want to do. Like, he probably only does that because he's got a better, he's gonna see on a Misty Morn and he wants to grab those back. Because if I ever saw Iron Throne in that game, I was always naming Newly Made Lord in marshalling. Because my locations are just so strong. He discarded a Starry Sept at one point, which was pretty big. Yeah, I don't know how did it look to you?
It, I mean, I don't know what these decks well enough, but you seem to be in control and things were going okay. It seemed like as a Martell player when I play, it seemed like, oh well, he's gonna have infinite money on Iron Bank and he's gonna have as many cards as he wants from Dorn. But kind of like despite all of that, you were still able to just knock out them pretty regularly. So like
Right.
despite being
Yeah.
able to draw a ton of cards, it didn't matter. Um,
Yeah. I mean, he gets to draw like 4 cards in challenges, and then I get to discard 3 or 4 with Nighttime Marauders because I had them and the Unexpected Gals flowing. So um, those were key. Otherwise, we're still playing that game
right,
for
and
sure.
that's even before you get to your like sparrows nonsense.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it felt good.
Feels good.
Those reps, yeah, those reps made a difference because I went in pretty comfortably there, knowing what I needed to do.
Yeah, like the only bad news thing that happened was when you hit the archivist on one of your
Right. The other thing was that he had a hand's judgment that I knew about, and I didn't. I didn't Marauders before I played Faith's Decree, which was bad. Um, but it ended up not mattering. But
hmm
I think it's a mistake to, I knew about the hand's judgment, so I should have played around it.
right. He caught you on one of those.
Right.
So if you did the other way around, all right. Well, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're down to the final 2 matches. Uh, USA's got to
Yeah.
win the next
It's
two.
Yep, 3-4, Germany's favor. So
Yep.
uh, I'll be around for the game, for Alex's game. So
Oh
I'll
yeah.
join
Okay.
you for that.
Great. Yeah, come in. I'll be here, and we'll do it up. Have you been part of Alex's prep on this?
Yeah, yeah. It's a really grindy matchup. It's fairly coin flip. Um, and they don't really have like a way to make it go faster like this game. So that game's gonna be a grind. We think that Alex is favored, but it's really actually kind of hard to to play it enough to know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's fairly coin flip, but we're a little favored. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The big thing is that we control initiative. Like most of the time, we have initiative. So
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty key here when Yorin and Martell's doing what they want to do. So
And then should Alex win that? We've got Malucci playing
yeah.
Targaryen against Greyjoy. Do you know, has Tom actually done any prep this round?
No, Tom doesn't do prep. Yeah, Tom is up against Greyjoy Crossing, which is another really volatile matchup. Again, we think we're favored there,
Okay.
but very slightly. We're more favored in Alex's game, which is a slight favorite. And we're barely favored in Tom's game. Um, the key cards are like Box Balon. That's really big. Like it's such an efficient card against Burn to go up against a card that just grabs anything out of your discard pile, including your bigs. So avoiding that or neutralizing that's going to be big.
Gotcha.
We do we generally have like a decent game plan against those kind of decks because unexpected delay is kind of built to feast around those decks. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. It'll be good.
All right, cool. Well, I will see you back here in an hour and 15 minutes then.
Yep, sounds good.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me, Trey.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for streaming. Yep.
All right. Thanks for streaming. I will. Hopefully, people will be back here in about an hour and 10 minutes or so. Okay, bye.